There's Aramco, the company, and then you've got Aramco, the arm of the Saudi government. And, those two are, as Dan said, intrinsically linked. And when you look at them, sometimes they're two sides of the same coin, and sometimes they're not quite the same thing. And that's what makes Aramco such a unique company. I was looking at Amin Nasser's earnings call a year ago this time. It was Aramco's first ever earnings call that they held in March 2020. And at the time, the pandemic was just starting to go global. OPEC plus talks had collapsed between Saudi Arabia and Russia. And there was a prospect of a price war, and oil prices were in the tank. And Amin Nasser was asked about this, and he said that Saudi Aramco can sustain low oil prices for a long time. We're comfortable at $30 a barrel price. Well, that may be true as a company, but as we've seen, that certainly is not an ideal situation for the Saudi government. So, this IPO that has happened and late 2019, and as you mentioned, Hadley, the oil price crashing, plus we focus on the commodity side, the commodity market, less so on the equity side. So our focus is really on what Aramco's earnings are telling us, what it means for the oil market, physical supply, upstream and downstream expansion, navigating these demand patterns that might be changing due to the pandemic and energy transition, that kind of thing. We know that they've cut their CapEx, $35 billion for 2021. That's down from previously what they said, $45 billion, $50 billion. Projects have been delayed. They've talked about getting up to 13 million barrels per day of production capacity from their current about 12 and a half. So how are they going to get there with these CapEx cuts? And are these wise investments? Has the pandemic changed the trajectory of the oil market? And, how is Aramco preparing for that? How are these strategic investments being made? I know they're holding their analyst call today, so maybe if some of these analysts are listening into this, they'll ask some of these questions. But that's really what I'm curious about. It's a potentially rocky oil market in the next several years, and with the pandemic and energy transition, I really want to know how Aramco, further details on how Aramco plans to navigate that.